Hey, what's up guys, my name is Charlie. Today we're going to be doing some more requested reaction videos, and this video is requested by Sevenless. So, yeah, it's going to be the worst games of all time by Scott the Woz. Yes, some more Scott the Woz. Oh boy. So it's going to be very fascinating because we've watched the best games of all time by Scott the Woz, and now it's time for the worst games of all time by Scott the Woz. So we've got to have the good games of all time and the bad games of all time. So you got to have the yin and yang, the good and bad. You know, you can't have one without the other. So, yeah, let's check out the video, shall we? Let's go. Oh boy, this is gonna be bad, isn't it? They've got to be sport games.
Scott here, and I'm on the verge of a little thing I like to call a breakthrough. You see, after I was tasked with doing taste tests on the worst games of all time according to Metacritic, I thought, there must be somebody behind this many games that bad. And after extensively looking through this Sunday's paper, I've narrowed it down to one suspect. Mr. Scoliosis. The world-renowned mastermind himself. Problem is, nobody's ever tracked him down. And I'd have to do that to get down to the bottom of what made these games so bad.
Ah, my f***ing back.
That must be him! Yeah, it turns out those games were bad due to mismanagement, not because of some guy with a curved spine.
Yeah, today we're looking at the worst of the worst on Metacritic. Now, before we start off, there are two separate lists on Metacritic detailing the worst games out there. One accounts for games with more than 7 reviews, and the other doesn't. We're looking at the list that includes games with less than 7, as that means more or lesser quality for me. Also, these aren't comprehensive reviews of these games, just first impressions.
Yaris.
Yaris was an Xbox Live Arcade game that was a promotional tie-in with the Toyota Yaris line of cars. It was delisted in 2008, a year after debuting on the market, and for good reasons. It's a racing game with a gun. You shoot MP3 players floating around as you race. I can't play it due to not being available for download anymore, but regardless, excellent way to start things off. 101 in 1 Explosive Mega Mix. At first glance may seem like a deal and a half. I always make sure to pick up anything marked 101 for 1, so when I saw this after searching for 101 in 1 Explosive Mega Mix on the Wii Shop channel, I knew I just had to pick it up. And this is one of the worst experiences I've had in quite a while, which is actually quite nice. This game made me realize that I have a pretty solid life if I'm getting angry at a $7 WiiWare game from 2011. 101 in 1 Explosive Mega Mix is a port of a DS game of the same name. It's a collection of lazily made mini games that take advantage of the DS stylus, except now we're on the Wii. This game is already incredibly mediocre if you're playing it with a stylus, but using a Wii remote as a pointer makes this game way more frustrating and difficult. The pointing functionality of the Wii remote just isn't as accurate as a stylus, and with these games being made with stylus play in mind, these feel incredibly awkward and just not fun to control. Like, who wants to play a basketball game on the Wii like this?
Yeah.
NRA Varmint Hunter is a hunting game released for Microsoft Windows.
Isn't it like Deer Hunter, the game?
I can't play it. It's just a poorly made hunting game where you shoot gophers or whatever. And judging by this game's intro, this game
like Deer Hunter,
is
I'm guessing.
Fucking ruthless.
Orc
Slayer on the PlayStation 4.
What the fuck?
This is phenomenal. I really don't have much to say about this game. It's basically just everything you'd expect out of a bad budget indie game. I mean, it's much more playable than other games, but I just got bored of it after 5 minutes. Definitely not the worst thing out there, but it's far from good.
It's just meh. The Letter.
The Letter is a Wii U eShop game that failed to reach its funding goal on Indiegogo, but they released it anyway! This is a horror game without the horror. Actually, this game is terrifying when you analyze it all. A beach ball? Spinning on its own? I gotta get out of here! You just have to find specific objects to advance to the next stage. You also find letters scattered across the levels, giving you some crazy lore. The controls are incredibly floaty, and the game never goes in for a scare. You see, it has all the elements of a horror game, but with no climax, no jump scares, no legitimately creepy things. When the game tries to be creepy, it just ends up making you feel bad for it. Here we have a beating heart, and don't worry, the shit in your pants is completely justified. I actually beat this game back in the day what the game's called, but it's not called recently, I couldn't bother getting past the second stage. It's actually really easy to get lost and just run around in circles due to how dark it is. Which is pretty sad. This game is around 20 minutes long, and I didn't even really feel like looking up a walkthrough, which you're definitely gonna need. The ending of the game, though, is out of this world. You enter a medical testing facility on the quest to find your father, and you just wait there for a few seconds, and blam blam blam, you're on an island, and it was all a dream. Hey, Twist Nation, do I got a game for you?
Right to hell. Oh god,
is
no.
a game made by dads trying to act cool in front of their angsty sons. It starts off with a cutscene intro / tutorial
this game is
where
a
we
joke.
see a montage of our main character Jake riding his bike, and then flash into a gameplay segment,
This
then
game
flash
is
back to
fucking
bike riding, then
terrible.
flash back to gameplay. This guy means business.
This is on Steam. Actually, they removed it from Steam,
What
but I have
an
it.
intro. After blowing all expectations out of the water, you
Shit's
reconcile with your
broken.
father.
You look like Jake.
Thank God this game is self-aware. Now I don't need to comment on how the visuals look like if arthritis could code. We get some good old-fashioned family bonding, and Jake decides he's had enough of just watching a movie's credits.
Swear to God, I'd rather be polishing boots than sit through this crap.
The dad pisses Jake's
He
brother
sums
Mikey
up the
off,
game.
and Jake has to go after him due to the dangers that awaits outside. And then Mikey gets his throat slit by these guys.
Like a skinny little old baby cat.
Yeah, the voice acting is terrible.
Thanks, what a
in this
nice
game.
threat. But yeah, your brother dies, and a reaction happens. I guess afterwards you seek to avenge your brother's death.
I love how you
guess,
just
I don't know,
explode
drive
when you
off,
crash
which is
into
a
something.
painstakingly long section for what it's worth.
You
No enemies, no purpose for
cheap
the long length,
explosion
just get to the
animation.
destination. You get into a fight, and after a few noogies and raspberries, the guy finally gives you what you want. We then have to find this next guy in a motel, but I end up killing this guy who's fighting with this girl. And immediately, we're rewarded with sick intercourse, clothing
Yeah.
and all.
I've
After a
seen
few
it.
noogies
It's
and
terrible.
raspberries, we
I've
have
got
to
it
catch
on
up to the
Steam.
guy hiding in the motel, and we get another driving
Game
section.
is
This game
bad.
was everything I wanted it to be.
It's badly
garbage,
good.
but it's definitely
It's a
something
good
you really should
garbage.
give a try.
Yeah.
It deserves a place on this list.
It's so
but
bad
it's
you need to play
incredible
it.
in almost every other way.
It's badly game breaking. Be good.
Elf Bowling 1 and 2. Solid
Elf
concept for a
Bowling?
game.
What
Of
the
course, these
fuck?
6 simple syllables attract most people. Absolutely not worthy of being on an actual video game cartridge licensed by Nintendo,
Santa
though.
sucks.
This game can be summed up by just saying, you press A. That's all you do. In Elf Bowling 1, you just press A at the right time to bowl in a specific
Is that their
area.
tongues?
And
Was that
man,
blood?
this thing is disorienting. and It
brutal.
just doesn't have good physics. Like, a lot of the time, it just doesn't feel like you should have gotten a gutter ball. Elf Bowling 2 isn't bowling, it's shuffleboard, but with approximately 90% more
Why
dwarf
is-
ass. You play against your
Why
longtime
is
rival
a
Dingle in
dwarf
a
wearing
battle
a
that goes on
thong?
far too long.
That's
This really shouldn't have
disturbing.
made the cut to be released on a cartridge. This is the kind of flash game your uncle emails you.
Ugh.
Actually, that's exactly what this game was, and the
Yeah.
GBA and Nintendo DS versions were unauthorized ports of the game.
Damn.
Overall, I mean, this game blows, but it's exactly what it says it is. It's Elf Bowling.
Can't get more simpler than that.
Unearthed is an episodic
Never heard of
game
it.
that never made it past episode 1. It originally released back in 2013, and first things first, this game knows how to get the standard Unearthed player excited. Yes! 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 How many times can I say I'm sold until you get the point? This thing looks stellar. But let's get down to the brass tacks here. This is a complete
Wow,
ripoff of
look at that
Uncharted. At least they
animation.
saw the growing market for cinematic action adventure games that begin with Un.
Fucking like
The difference is
SimCity
Uncharted has
animation.
beautiful environments, great writing, fun
No, the
characters,
Sims
and entertaining
animation, not
gameplay.
SimCity.
This game feels like if Uncharted was released on the PlayStation 1 and was coated with waffle iron. The game starts off with your character limping all over the place, while the game stops you abruptly every 4 grams of movement you take.
Even
to
Max
explain
Payne
something
was
that's
better than
relatively
this crap.
trivial. I got to shooting, and
The first Max Payne game was
ew.
better
I'm
than
playing the
this.
Mac version, and for some reason they decided to make aiming a right click on the mouse and shooting a left click. All Macs ship with a trackpad or a magic mouse, which you can't right click and left click simultaneously. So it's time to
Duh,
crack
that
out a
sucks.
third-party mouse. We trudge on to the hand-to-hand combat section, and why is the scroll wheel an input? We have all these keys on the keyboard, yet they decide to use the scroll wheel. That basically describes one of the larger problems with this game. Clunk. This game is the farthest thing from intuitive to play, which is emphasized even more by the fact that this is a pretty simple game. Definitely play it with a controller if possible. The game
If
then
possible,
actively tries
yeah,
to gain
use
my
some
sympathy,
software.
and then...
Just shoot them all. Why are you waiting? Why are you being patient? Just kill them all.
What would you do if you were me?
Give up. We then get some solid story, and your sister decides to explain your mission right before you do it, instead of, you know, explaining it when she asks you to go out to the desert with her. But whatever, let's finally get to the meat of the game, which is Uncharted. but about 77 pegs worse. Climbing is one of the clunkiest things I've ever controlled in a video game here. In Uncharted, you don't have to think about it. Here, it's an active struggle to move anywhere.
Look at the
I had to find
legs
4 keys to unlock this door, and get
wobbling
this,
all over the
I did.
place.
We then find myself just walking forward, and looks like I need a torch to even move into the darkness. This stuff is so dark, it's blocking me from going forward. I have to sidle across this, and Clunk strikes again. This is just embarrassing. I come across a boarded door, and I obviously have to crawl under it. Jesus! After getting to the tomb, the game finds it incredibly integral to stop you dead in your tracks to make sure you listen to this dialogue. I then get to control an RC car to activate pressure points to help me cross some gaps.
Cool.
Clunk strikes again as I accidentally jump off the platform, and I give up. Yeah, this is the epitome of a sour game. Lame visuals, bad voiceover, stock music, clunky controls, a blatant ripoff. Get this thing away from me.
Yep.
Family Party, 30 great games, Obstacle
Party,
Arcade.
30 great
First off,
games,
kudos
that's
to the
quite a
marketing
statement.
team. It's like they know what consumers want in a title. This was released near the Wii U's launch, and oh boy, do we have a stinker on our hands. This is a party game, of course, and by the second minigame, I shut this off hard. This game does what I think many Wii U games painfully do to a fault, which is use the Wii Remote and gamepad by trading them off in between. Use the Wii Remote for this game, now use the gamepad. That just gets so inconvenient and tiring. Don't make me constantly swap controllers. That's just not fun. On top of that, the game went from a Wii Remote minigame to a gamepad minigame to a game that required the nunchuck to be plugged in and refused to let me do anything until I did so. This feels like a generic party game that was in development for the Wii and immediately shifted over to the Wii U when that was on the way in. And also, these minigames blow. I'm not one to immediately write off party games. They have their worth and can be tons of fun, but this is one of the worst excuses for pretty much anything. The game that required the nunchuck really got to me. You have to shoot at ghosts. It requires the nunchuck for the analog stick, and you have to move the stick to where the ghost is and waggle the Wii Remote to shoot it. Wow, it's like I'm really there! This is stupid. Why not just use the pointer of the Wii Remote and the B button to shoot at ghosts? Instead, this game made me get up and find a nunchuck for a minute-long minigame. This is miserable. This game needs to go lay down.
Big rigs,
Finally,
fucking
we end off with the creme de la creme of
We've seen this on the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Off-the-Road Racing, released in 2003 for Microsoft Windows.
This video game shocked me so much.
The first time around. Yeah, we have a bit of a problem on our hand. I simply can't go without playing this game, as it's the worst of all time. So we have to turn to an unofficial Mac port of the game. Problem is, doesn't run very well.
Yeah, that's what happens with Mac. I don't like Mac computers. They're fucking horrible.
Big Rigs is a racing game with everybody's favorite
form
of transportation, some big rigs.
Good for
and
video
it's
editing.
Completely unfinished. You can drive through everything. Your opponent doesn't even move at all. Now this is what I call some positive life lessons with Big Rigs. Easily teach young children that it doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's about the sick, nasty glitches in store for you.
Yep, I remember drinking some Red Bull watching this shit.
You oddly go faster than you would in drive, and on top of that, just give the left or right arrow keys some loving. And finally, a driving game with some personality. Listen, I think Big Rigs deserves to definitely be on this list, and it definitely could be considered the worst game of all time.
No
I
shit.
mean, it's not finished.
Actually, plumbers don't wear ties. Is
bad. This is the fun kind of bad that only legends have spoken of. 101 and 1
Or
Explosive
Crazy
Mega
Bus.
Mix and Family Party are the boring, frustrating
Or Hong
kind
Kong
of bad.
97.
This and Ride to Hell are games
You
I
are
think
winner.
everybody has to experience.
Wow, oh wow. Who knew video games could be so bad? Hopefully those games didn't affect my sanity too much.
That's how I feel after playing a bad game, after spending like $60 for a fucking game. Oh boy. Okay, that's the end of the video. So, yeah, I agree with most of these. Some of the games were just absolutely terrible. And Big Rigs, it's a bad game, but it's a good game. You know, it's a bad, good game. I haven't played it yet, but I want to play it. I should download it today and give it a try and record it and, you know, play the gameplay. And we can chill out and play the game or something like that. It'll be totally awesome. But also, that other game, you know, Ride to Hell, I've seen that game. I've played the game. It's bad. It's bad. It is bad. I cannot emphasize how much of a bad game it is. It is a terrible, god-awful, painful mess of a game. It just, oh, God. No. I'm getting flashbacks of the game constantly crashing every fucking 10 minutes. Yeah, I've got that game for Steam, and I don't think they sell the game anymore on Steam. I'm not quite sure. I think they discontinued it because it wasn't even fucking classified as a game. Yeah, I recommend Ride to Hell if you can find it. You probably buy a key or something, but it's probably expensive because it's like a really hard game to find without being it pricey, because it's so bad that everyone wants to play it. You know, it's one of those terrible games that you must play. It really is a terrible game for the PC. Yeah. I think it was also released for the Xbox 360. I'm not quite sure, but I had it for Steam. Yeah, let's end the video there. So if you like this video, make sure to give a like, comment down below, and make sure to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.